welcome back to our channel. This is WIP Reviews, which stands for Work in Progress. We're two works in progress.
I'm Sam.
I'm Dennis.
And we're two best friends who like reacting to music, film, entertainment, anything pop culture. And today we are reacting to Adele's
My Little Love.
And we're reacting to the entire album, so make sure to check out all of our videos.
All of them.
In our channel.
There's a playlist of all Adele songs, so you might want to check it out. Let's get started.
Let's start.
Feel lost, it's my fault completely.
Tell me you love me.
I love you a million %.
I don't know, I feel like I'm invading for some reason.
I know. I feel like this is a personal
Yeah.
conversation.
It feels like very much like she wrote in her diary. And like she's writing something, and then her child asks her something, and she's like, "Oh," and then she goes on to write back. It's like she's like, it's like we're there with them as she's like writing her thoughts, and then her kid like asks her a question, and like I don't know, it's like so vulnerable to a point where I'm like, "Oh no, why are you telling me this?" Like.
We're not that close.
I don't know you that well.
We just met.
Literally. It's like, but she's also, it's interesting that she says like to her kid, like, "Oh, I'm having big emotions. I'm so confused." Like to also be that vulnerable with your kid who's like clearly like a little kid.
I think she's actually saying this song is for her kid.
Yeah.
Catch me, help me.
Yeah. Teach me.
Teach me. And you know what? There is a lot like that you can learn emotionally from children that they teach you about, like, you know, like being around children and elderly people or animals. They really ground you. So I think in this way she's like kind of just verbalizing that feeling of like, you know, it's not a horrible idea to be a mom and learn from your children. I don't know what it's like to be a mother, but I am a nanny, so I work with kids all the time. So and I learn so much from them every single day. So I think it's just she's verbalizing that feeling of like, oh, I have this support system, even though they don't know what I'm feeling. They can be there with me, but, you know, it's not important to rely on your children for emotional support, but it is helpful to have someone just be there and love you and support you no matter what. And I think that's really sweet.
Looks like I'm emotional. Can you imagine?
She's like crying on his shoulder.
So sad.
It feels like that in this
Yeah.
song, though. It really feels like she's like crying on her kid's shoulder. But it's just, I've never heard an artist talk about this topic before, and I love that.
Yeah. I think it's also, like, kind of like you said, with kids, like, they haven't learned that you can't do certain things yet. So, because of that, you can learn so much from them due to their, like, they haven't learned, like, oh, you can't cry, you can't whatever, you can't laugh, you can't whatever the feeling she's feeling because of the world and how it's, like, impacted her. Her kid's not been tainted by that yet. So she's like, teach me, like, to go back there, back to my youth, back to when I was a kid. And I also think, like, when I first saw it was 6 minutes, I'm like, what the heck? But now I'm like, oh, because there's voice notes in it.
And there's a lot to discuss,
there's
and
so
this
much.
really heavy
Yeah.
My Little Love.
It just feels like a diary entry, to be honest.
I like it so far.
Yeah, I like it too.
And you know what? I'm actually glad that it's not so vocally crazy.
Yeah.
I think that it's more important to talk about the message right now rather than the vocals.
You feel the way my past aches when you lay on me. Can you hear the way my heart breaks? I wanted you to have everything I never had. I'm so sorry if what I've done makes you feel sad.
I'm wondering, like, if that's her talking about her divorce.
Yeah,
and, like,
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Which, like,
It does.
it does affect the child, but, like, in the long run, if the parents aren't happy,
That affects a child more.
than having to put them through a divorce.
My parents got divorced. And I think that it's just much better to, I know, you know, as a kid who watched my parents, I'd much rather them be happy.
Yeah.
But I've learned that as an adult. But maybe I would have thought differently if I was a child, like a little itty bitty kid being confused.
Yeah.
I love your dad because he gave you to me. You're half me and you're half daddy.
I think, like, something that's so often taught, like the only way to, like the least traumatic way for the child to go through a divorce is to not villainize the other parent to the kid.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what she did with that quote right there. Like, oh, like, yeah, maybe like we
aren't together anymore.
but like I still love that relationship gave me you. And like it's not like there's no point of showing the bad if like that doesn't help the kid. Like what's the point of telling the kid like, oh yeah, like I hate him? Like there's no, why would you tell the child that?
Mm-hmm.
Like you say like, oh, we're not together, but look how awesome what came out of this. So I think that's pretty wonderful.
So her line is saying, "Mama's got a lot to learn," and I think it's really interesting that she's expressing, you know, parents aren't perfect people. Even though someone's older, that doesn't mean that they know what's going on. They don't know how to control their emotions. And even in Easy on Me, she mentions like, "Go easy on me. I was just a child. Didn't get a chance to feel the world around me." Like she's still. Every one of her songs so far has had this similar message, like, even though, and maybe it's because she grew up in this stardom and, like, with this following of people and this big career, and maybe she hasn't had the chance to learn how to deal with these really challenging emotions, and that's why we were talking about, like, a bunch of people who love her, like, no matter how old you are, you still find some way to relate to Adele. And I think that's very prevalent here as well, because you're talking about, yeah, she's 33, but that doesn't mean that she has everything figured out. And I think everybody can resonate with that message. Yeah, I'm 22, I have no idea what I'm doing, or I'm 19, I don't know what I'm going through. I'm 33 and I have kids and I'm going through this big life change, but I'm still trying to figure it out. And it almost does feel like we're reading her diary. It makes her more personal and connected to her audience.
I had a hangover, which never helps, but I feel like today is the first day since I left him that I feel lonely.
There's so much that has happened. I'm like so overwhelmed from that last one.
Yeah. I mean, I'm like struggling to see like the line between like too far. Not too far in the sense like I'm not going to tell Adele what the heck she shares or not. I'm saying like
this is her life.
Yeah, like she can do whatever she wants. I'm just wondering like I like at some points I'm like, "Oh my god, why am I listening to this?" Like I just feel like I'm really invading her privacy. But at other points, I'm like, oh, she's probably helping people who are right now, like, sitting alone.
Yeah.
Like,
divorced, like really struggling. Oh,
or
my
they don't have to be divorced. You can literally be at any age, just be lonely.
Yeah, being
and
lonely,
feel that emotion of, like, damn, I'm here all alone. Well, you don't have to be alone to be lonely. So
that's true.
So it's just instrumental for like a minute and 10 seconds or something.
The movie by Tom Misch kind of is like, because it has that, my cheek brushes against him, smooth as stubble for a moment. And I like the voice note aspect to it.
I can't remember if I know any album. I feel like every time there's a voice note, it's like a separate track on the album. Like it's a song, and then they have like a voice note or like a personal thing.
So like Nat and Alex Wolf, Tenderly, and then that random voice.
Sure.
Oh.
Like that's what I mean. We're reviewing this album out of Adele's because the album is Adele's 30. So what are you going to rate it out of?
Wow. See, I don't even know how to rate something like this.
Same. That's why I wanted you to first.
It's so hard to rate music like this. Because if I'm thinking about it as something that I'm putting on my playlist, I'm listening to every single day, this is not it. Can I appreciate the craftsmanship that went into a piece like this? Absolutely. So for something like that, and And the lyrics, I do like the intention behind this. And in Adele's world, we're also rating it out of, like, Adele songs that, like, we're comparing it to, like, Adele songs that we love. Like,
The world of Adele.
Right. Like, I love Turning Tables, like, Rolling the Deep. Like, Turning Tables is one of my favorite
Turning
songs.
Tables.
Oh, my God.
Iconic.
So good. It's, again, just songs like those, like, make you feel you want to listen to them multiple times. I would say, but, like, it's also hard to rate something like this because as an artist, I can see why she wanted to make something like this. So there's so many ways that you can approach it. But I think personally for me, I would rate it a 7.
Okay, well, I think I would... For me, I think it's... Like you said, I also understand why she would put this. I understand this as an album song. I understand this as a personal note to her fans who actually listen to her music. Because, you know, the people who, like, listen just to her singles, they're not, like, her fans. This is just, like, her album is her diary. And she's just writing it, and she's like, okay, if you want to listen to it, go ahead, or you can just listen to only the hits. But, you know, this song is not obviously going to be a single, because that wouldn't make sense. But as understanding that that's what the role this song plays, I think I would give this song... I would also have said 7, but giving it a half extra point for the vulnerability, for the...
Love it.
I just think it's just really brave and amazing that she shared that.
Oh, yeah.
So I would give it a 7.5. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to be notified every time we release a new video, make sure to hit that notification bell. Also, here's our Instagram handle. There are clips, there are behind the scenes, there are just extra content that you want. So make sure to follow, and also, there's our TikTok.
Right here.